Okay, so you're probably here because you want to make a car music kind of track and you don't know where to start, so I figured I'll help you on the way with some presets and some midis to get you started. And then there's the acapella that's cut. It's 21 Pilots Chlorines. It's for an upcoming remix of mine. Hopefully you're gonna enjoy this process as much as I will. Let's start with the bass preset. It's this one. Yep, that's how the bass sounds. Probably need some sidechain and stuff, but we'll fix that in a sec. So for the most surefire and effective way to get started, find an acapella that you really like. Preferably something a bit weird. That's why I went with 21 Pilots twice now. Lana Del Rey will also probably work. Well, most likely. Anyway, so for the intro, you can have the hats rolling. I'm using cashmere hats, or actually Arab music hats for hip hop hats. And the clap is a cashmere clap. So what we're gonna do now is fill the intro by not filling the intro. We're gonna actually remove stuff, which is frequencies from the vocal. We can use Fruity Love Filter for that. It's a stock plugin in FL Studio. You take the low pass off, or you can go with the low pass. I'm gonna go with the high pass. I'll show you both of the effects first. So you make an automation clip. To make an automation clip of it, you just right click the parameter. This only works for stock plugins, by the way. You right click the parameter you want to automate and create an automation clip. When you've done that, you can choose how you want to automate it by, for example, making it rise all the way up from the low pass, which would sound something like this. I'm gonna fix it a bit first. There we go. Also remove the resonance. It needs something else, and I'm pretty sure you can hear that as well. If you have any samples, you can use them like a riser sample or something. Otherwise, you can take a square in Serum. All these presets are for Serum. And then you follow the notes of the bass line. I'm just going to show you the quickest techniques to get going. Let's see here, and then you go for the arpeggiator. For the arpeggiator, you open the Serum that you want to arpeggiate. You click the cogwheel to get to the FL Studio. FL Studio's built-in arpeggiator, which is this section here. And then you give it a range 4 with no repeat, and you can give it a 3 times or 2. That's gonna be great. Let's see if I can actually find the ARP. Make an own pattern for the ARP. Don't be like me and have everything in one pattern. Please be organized. Don't color your stuff, rename your shit. Don't be like me. Okay, let's see. How does the ARP sound? It's too slow. Because we haven't set an order for it. Let's have it up and down. Faster. That's slower actually. Let's go with 1. Okay, let's see here. You can go with a faster, go with a gate and a faster tempo on it, like 0:15 or something. It's gonna make more sense in the mix than it does right now, trust me. Okay, let's see here. Sorry. It's still empty because we're missing mid to low frequencies. We have the Medusa pluck thing, which is mid to high, not enough lows at all. We have the vocal, which is mid to high, not any lows. I think it's even cut. There's the ARP, which is super high. And there's the hats that carry no low frequency. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open another serum or spire, it's your choice. You can do this in both synths. But I'm gonna go with serum. Next time I do this kind of stuff, I'll show you how to do it in spire. Take a saw, give it 3 voices. Detune them quite heavily actually. You can go with 5 voices, anything that's uneven preferably. This MIDI will not be included. And then we take this off the ARP. Let's see how it sounds an octave down even. band 12 is going to work nicely for this kind of bass line. It's a respace, so you can also go with like 24 to have it steeper, but then you should give it some more highs. You can give it the drive to increase the frequency range and the peak, and then reduce the resonance to get rid of that peak. This kind of bass, I'll show you a technique for it. You can give it reverb on a send channel after the EQ, which I'm going to use fab filter for. Actually, let's go with parametric EQ in case you're using stock plugins. But usually I would go with fab filter, but for you guys I'll just not. I'll high pass the bus or the send, and I will put the reverb on after the EQ while giving it a low cut. Hear that? That's reverb on a bass without interfering with any lows, because the lows are cut up to, maybe cut it some more actually. Up to 200 Hertz is the lowest point where there's any frequencies that are going to be let out. It's going to bleed down to about 150. That's why I went with 200. You can increase the wet and just remove the dry completely, because you already have a dry signal going out to the master. We should have more wet on the, you can have it really wet because it's still in the intro. Just make sure to not let any lows through. I'm talking about the ARP, of course. This is where we bring the bass line in, after an impact. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take the bass. Where is it? Is it? No. Maybe it's not even assigned to a mixer track. It is not. Let us assign it to a mixer track. It's on 12 right now. Give it a sidechain, but automate its volume, the volume of the sidechain, so that when you hit the bass line without the kick, there is no sidechain going on. You can also do the exact same thing with grow speed, but I'm using kickstart. With grow speed, you would just choose the sidechain and tweak it to your preference. You can give it some variation also, just as long as you have a long enough silence for the kick to come through. And then you can automate this volume or this volume to do the same thing. But we're gonna go with kickstart as it's just easier. These presets are all made by me, of course. Can you guess what we're doing next? Of course you can. We're gonna use the lob filter. Again, set it to high pass by removing the low and increasing the high. Give it a full cutoff. Create an automation clip of the cutoff again. And be organized, not like me. I'm just trying to do this fast. So let's rename and recolor this. Oh, it's the other way around when it's high. Okay. Why? Here we go. If you have the Cashmere pack, ARC, you can actually grab an impact. The Cashmere pack's impact should be right to my private porn collection. Where are the impacts? FX elements probably. Impacts. Well, let's go with a mid one. This one has a short sweep to it, I really like that. You can have the respace going at the same time. Let's see what we've done here. And now the respace needs to go. How do we make it go? We can't just remove it suddenly, so we're going to use the filter again with the high pass. Remove the low, add the high. Give it a dual and around here should be fine. Now, why is this not sounding great? Because we don't have anything to make it rise. But actually we do. We're going to use the endless smile with the penis nose. It's going to go into full erection like this. Okay, so create an automation clip. How to make an automation clip of a parameter that isn't in FL Studio. You tweak the knob, you press tools, you go to last tweaked and create an automation clip. That's going to create an automation clip for any parameter that isn't in an FL Stock plugin. You can also use, I think there is a keybind you can set to it, but I'm not sure. Okay, anyway. What we're going to have right now is something like this. Remove some of the respaces pattern. Should go something like this. what's coming. We add the vocal to the first part and the second part of the drop. Make the second part unique by clicking here on the waveform icon. Make unique. Pitch it up 12 semitones from something that's pretty dark. I'm going with 800 from 400 because that's an octave. And then you have them both playing at the second part of the drop. So you have the high pitch and the low pitch. Now, this is the part where the sidechain comes back in. See this? It goes back up. So just give it some room so it doesn't bug out when you render. And of course, give it add a sidechain to the vocal as well. Make sure everything is in tempo. You can add the counter midi here as well. And now we're missing the most important thing of the track, a kick. Since we are in, what is this? B flat. This is B flat. We're gonna go with a kick that has a nice note for this. I'm gonna pitch down a kick down to G, from G to E, because it's part of the scale and it doesn't interfere with the lowest note. Let's go for some kicks. Kicks, punchy. This kick. I'm settling on this one. Let's make a new pattern for the kick and not be stupid. This sounds bad, right? What if you do this? Take the time knob, set it to 4. Give it some length, you pitch it down again, and then you have the punch back and you have a longer subtail without ruining the kick because the stretch isn't long at all. It's a few milliseconds, but it's enough to give you that sub feel of the kick. See what I mean? And it won't interfere too much either because of the hard sidechain, which I hope we have set. Which we have. I'm actually removing the accountability because it sounds like shit in there. Can you hear what's missing? It's not this. We'll clone this. It's the baseline preset. We'll set everything to 0 except the sub oscillator. And then from here we're gonna see this is how low I dare to go with keeping it melodic. So remove the sub oscillator completely. Give it a 7th. And change the wavetable to a sine while keeping only one voice on the unison. Hear that beautiful sound? It sounds like it's clipping, but it's not. Look at this. Okay. We're gonna assign it to its own mixer channel. Remove all the lows. Right click this to set the order to steep 8, by the way, if you wonder how it's done. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna copy the pattern and we're gonna give it a reverb with 100% wet and not dry. And then we're gonna automate this because we have the bottom bass giving it the punch, so it's not really necessary to have both of them doing so all the time. What we're gonna do is automate the reverb. It's called reverb throws. Except this is the fake way of doing it, but we want to get finished fast, remember? How many notes are we down? None. Okay, so remove the 7th and give it a plus. Oh. You don't need constant reverb in a track like this. It's only gonna fuck up the vibe. Whereas if you have some throws, it's gonna sound beautiful. Look at this. What do we have there? After the reverb, you sidechain. Always after the reverb, never before. Because otherwise it will sidechain, but the sound of the reverb will go on top of the sidechain. If you know what I'm saying. Remove some of the stuff to give it some tension. We want the kick to be louder than the bass, of course. Oh, I forgot the most important thing a music producer should always do. Turn off the limiter on the master. And then turn down the master volume a bit. Now we need a clap. We want regular claps, heavy ones. Okay, we have one here. Clap. We're gonna need something right here as well. So let's fix that immediately. A cashmere fill will be great because it sounds so professional that it's unprofessional. Cashmere is a legend in the EDM scene, and his packs are so overused that every time I hear his fills I want to puke. So let's use them. Now we're gonna make it really unique. We're just gonna change the tempo. See, that's how to be original. Okay, let's go. Why is this doing that? Because we don't have the reverb automation going. Okay, set the reverb automation to the build-up as well. Let's make the pattern simpler so it doesn't sound weird. Shit, I did something bad. There we go. reduce its volume because white noise is a high frequency, and when it's loud, it's really loud. And give it a huge side chain so it gives that push and pull feel. It's white noise, it doesn't need to actually, I don't know why people want stuff so punchy and shit, I don't know. Anyway. Sorry for the heavy breathing, I'm getting horny by this track. Okay, so that's it for the first part. Next part we're gonna do a breakdown, and I really hate making breakdowns because they're the most boring part of the track, and yeah. Stick around for that boring part, and let's finish proper, not a proper, this is very improper, but you know what I mean. A nice sounding